What's going on, people? It's Mr. Door back again. I hope everyone's fit and well and had a great day. It's time for transfer talk time. Loads of gossip. I know there's been a lot of issues with Twitter. They must have banned me for some reason. They definitely banned him because I've not seen him for quite a while. Steve, did they ban you from Twitter?
No.
Oh God!
It was playing up yesterday though. It was very slow.
Oh, people in the comments. Was your Twitter cancelled for what I think it was for a day or what mine was? People in the comments. Was your Twitter banned? I think I'm alive and well, but yeah, it's all gossip. I've been through Twitter today and saw so much gossip today, but we've got the man himself, Jay, to talk about most of it. Jay, how you feeling today, Jay?
I'm feeling good. It's been a good day today. It's been a little bit busy, yeah, I can't lie to you, but that's just what happens when you work in hospitality. That's the only reason I've been busy. So yeah, I'm all good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. This is why I've got Jay on, because he's got so much to talk about, because Jay, he's in the journo business. Jay, why did he is? He's in the
fake journo, to be honest.
Well, I'm just saying, but people, if you do want to get so much transfer gossip, go on, follow Jay on Twitter. Link is in the descriptions, because he just gets the information for everyone else. But we are going to talk about a certain player later on. Next up, we've got the man himself, the Welsh Wizard. We've got Dylan next to him as well. What's going on, Dylan?
Hello.
Yes,
He's
Dylan.
eating his food.
Yeah,
I'm good, Ben.
Good.
Just waiting for the football season to start now.
Oh, can't wait. As we know, I think the players are back tomorrow, people. So, hopefully this week a player will arrive as well. But people get involved with this chat. Like I said, it's going to be another hour show to talk about whatever you want to talk about. But let's get through the comments as well. Harvey, evening, chaps. Just got back from the cricket. Who did you watch? Was it Nottingham or England? On that. Next up, got Mark. Evening to all you guys. No problem with Twitter with me. Bloody hell. Are you on the green star with like Jay? As well, Pete Walsh. Hi, Dor, Jay, and Steve. How you doing, Peter? And Paul. Hi, or help as well. It's all good, Paul. It's all good. What's more as well. Hello, Mr. Dor, Jay, and Steve. Hope you're well. My Twitter kept saying cannot retrieve tweets. You've been saying retrieve tweets. I started some new drawings in this. Have you drawn Steve yet, Eve? Oh no, have you drawn Jay or Steve?
She's drawn me.
I should draw you.
Yeah.
I should draw you, Jay.
I'm not entirely sure. I don't
Right,
know.
Eve, draw a picture of Jay. Make sure he's got massive ears.
It's true. Look.
Now, what's that guy look like again? What's his name?
Alan Partridge.
That's it, Alan Partridge. Yeah, make people in the comments. Yeah, the people in the comments. Do you think he looks like him? Yes or no? Let's have a little bit of fun today. As well, really good fun as well. And let's talk about Morgan White. Another assist for Morgan White against Portugal tonight. So, welcome to England on the 21s for reaching the semi-finals. I think they got against Israel. I think so. Good luck to that. So John Guti Collins went to the most annoying club in the world, Lego Brentford. What's that? Collins? I didn't get that one.
Plays for Wolves, I think. Nathan Collins. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Back. Oh no, I've not seen that. Country Red DoreOnTour, he's one of our own. I am. Thank you for that. Big Matt, evening to all Forest fans. How you doing, Matt? There's loads of comments coming in freaking fast today as well. But let's start with the topic. I put a poll in about Ryan Sessegnon to Nottingham Forest. As you know, if people follow Jay on Twitter, he put it out there about Ryan Sessegnon linked with Forest. So Jay, let's start about it. What you got to tell us?
I can't help but smiling, to be honest, because it's my first. It's like a first exclusive almost for me. So. Ryan Sessegnon, it's a deal that Forest are actively working on now. There's been a lot of movement in the last probably 24 to 48 hours. They've been working on it for quite some time, actually, and I put out a little bit of a teaser asking if Forest fans would take Sessegnon a while ago, and that was because at the time they were talking about the deal, and at the moment they're just waiting for Tottenham to give them the green light on the proposed deal. Sessegnon happy to move to Forest. Personal terms not really an issue. Obviously, Spurs having a new manager is a big defining factor, because whether he'll want to keep Sessegnon on, at the club is his choice. So Expect some more information in the next week or so, but working on a deal, and who knows, could be at Forest soon.
Steve, what do you think? Do you think it's suitable for Forest? Young as well.
Yeah. Has he been on loan somewhere? Because
He was
recently,
on loan.
I think he went to Hoffenheim a few years back.
Yeah, Hoffenheim. Yeah, he went there. Yeah.
But he just seems to be one of them players seems to be around forever, but he's still only like 22, 23, which is mental. All the times I've seen him play, he's quite direct, isn't he? He's quick, he's young, he's still quite raw. So going forward, he'll be an asset. Will he take the place of Lodi? We still don't know what's happening with Omar Richards, our left back berth. We still got Toffolo. Will he be used more of a left wing back, more of an offensive player? So it's an interesting one. But Cooper, he's another one of Cooper's old under 21 players. I understand.
Yes.
He's
No, that was his brother. That was his brother who played right wing for the.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm sure it was. People in the comments, was it his brother that played for?
I thought it was right. How many are there then? How many Sessegnons are there?
There's two. There's his brother that plays right wing, and then you got himself, Ryan's.
Right.
His left back. I don't know. People in the comments. I don't know. Am I talking good or nonsense like Jay? I don't know if I am or not. I don't know. People in the comments. If it did right, what's his name?
I'm sure it was Steven Sessegnon that played in Cooper's under 17s, not Ryan. I don't think it's Ryan.
Steven Sessegnon, isn't it?
Steven, yeah. Steven's the one that played in right wing that won the World Cup on 17 with Steve Cooper and that. But some people in the comments, what would you want him at Forest? I feel like I've done a poll. So far, there's 57 people in. We've voted. 88 says yes. 12 says no. People put in the comments. Was it you? Said yes. Was it you? Said no. Please do. We'll still talk about him, Jay. If we are linked with him, we've still got like players like Omar Richards, Toffolo as well.
Biancone
as well. He can play left wing. Do you think he's a right person? Because Cooper loves his young players, don't he?
I mean, yeah. So in the last 50 games that he played 18 times as a left back. He also played as a left-sided defensive midfielder. He's played as a left midfielder. He's played as a left attacking midfielder, a left forward. I think there's all the ingredients there for me to make a left wing back, if I'm being perfectly honest. What Forest will probably need in this coming year is someone that can play left wing back and left wing, because I would say they've got enough left backs. I mean, whether they're quality left backs, that's for Cooper to choose. Omar Richards is still, potentially going to play Forest. Obviously, we don't know his future yet. But there's, Nico can play left back.
Yeah,
he's available.
He plays there for Wales, don't he?
He does, yeah, exactly. So you've got the options there. And Sessegnon typically is actually better as a forward. Although he's played more games as a defender, his passing stats aren't brilliant, but his take-on stats, his pace, his skills and his shots are all pretty good attributes that he has. So more of an attacking player, I'd say. Left wing back, left winger. That's probably where he suits best, I would say.
Just go through the comments as well. This is from Paul. Really quality signed by him. Can't spell it. Link as well. Dar says, "Size door so we can laugh when door." Oh, I know. I keep saying. I keep saying it wrong. This is why I keep saying Ryan S. I keep saying Ryan S. Dar, thank you for that. He's a good player, gets some good experience, and he knows how to get forward. That's a bonus, isn't it, Steve?
Again, sorry, Ben.
It's a bonus for him having speed. He's got Premier League experience as well.
Yeah, and that Premiership experience. As now we stayed up, we need to kick on now and get players in who extra experience. And even though he's a young lad, he has that Premiership experience, which is mad. Like I said earlier, he's still only early 20 and he's played at the top level. A lot of them comments, I agree. I think I would use him more offensively, I think. Some question marks have been over his defence, so maybe just use him further forward, outpace going forward, with the likes of Johnson, Gibbs-White and Taiwo up front. We can imagine adding that extra pace up the left side. I think if we play with the back three and then the five, and then that'll suit him better, I think. And then we have got the option, if we go with the back four, if Richards does play him there, top floor, and then play Sessegnon further forward. So yeah, the key word there, Ben, is pace. We definitely add pace to the side. You can't replace that. Pace scares defenders. Just add extra pace up top. That's key. That is.
Shout out to One Rose Vlogs. His brother Steven Sessegnon. He's a defender. Yeah, that's what.
Didn't one of them play for Charlton?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Right.
He was him. Yeah, he was him. He played for Charlton on loan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he played for Fulham. I'm sure he played for Fulham.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure he does. Bloody hell.
That's why I thought there was more than two brothers. The Sessegnon name has just been thrown about.
People in the comments. I'm sure there's one in France as well, but they're not related though. I'm sure there's people in the comments. How many is there? Jay must know. Jay's a journal. How many is there, Jay? You're a journal. You must know all this stuff.
I only know of the two, to be honest.
People in the comments.
Yeah,
how many,
I'm sure there is a third one.
How many? Is there more than two? Please do, because I'm brain dead on this one. As well, I'm going to go through the comments as well. Victor's being happy to get Sessegnon at Forest. Right, Don Panel. I'll take Sessegnon. Spurs fans rubbish. And look how he is reversed. Plays perform at a different club and manager. I suggest if Q wants him, let's get him. Why not?
I think at Spurs they played him further forward as well, if I remember right. The few games I did see him play, Spurs played him further forward.
Okay.
There is some concerns though. I do just want to say, there is the biggest concern I can see with Ryan Sessegnon is his injuries. He missed, I think it was 12 games last season through injury. He missed 24 games the season before. He's got proneness to hamstring injuries. So we do talk about Premier League experience, which is great, but he only gets a certain amount of games per season through injury. So if you are going to buy him, really, you're going to need someone who's similar to who he is as well, because you're not going to get the most out of him. So I agree that he's a brilliant player, and actually it would be a very good signing. Cooper wants that versatility, wants the options to go between a back four and a back five and different tactics, which Sessegnon can offer. But his injuries are a bit of a concern for me. So it's about weighing up the pros and the cons, isn't it? But I suppose that's what we're going to try and do here.
There's 104 people in. If you can do a massive favour, please do hit the like button as well. And I did a poll as well for Ryan Sessegnon to Forest, and like 87 says yes, and 13% said no. So if you're on 13%, put in the comment reason why you don't think you should be good at Forest, and then we'll talk about it later on. If you go through comment, definitely yes, we can play on the left hand side. Still young and can improve as well, definitely. Mark says, even though Jim and Steve, how you doing, Mark? As well. Harvey says, would you take Gordon alone if Johnson leaves? I think that's something we'll talk later on, but no. We'll talk later on the show. Martin says, evening, how you doing? We've got Dylan. How you doing, Dylan, my friend? Hope you're all good. Any more? Right, so people comment and say, if anyone said, the 14% says no, was you yes or no? Callum, how you doing? Callum, hope you're well. Right, next one. Like I said, I've done a poll. I'm going to take it down. It's like 70 people has voted for if we want to Ryan Sessegnon, and 86 says yes, and 14 says no. Right, next one. Goalkeeper wise, it's a weird one because this Dean Henderson one has been going on for ages, and I understand it why he's not signed, because Man U have still got to deal with this situation with goalkeeper wise to hear on that. Let's talk about you, Jay. Dean Henderson, yes or no? And talk about other goalkeepers that we've been linked with as well.
I mean, it's an absolute yes for me, because I mean, we are going to probably get him for lower than 20 million, so that's what you want. I think he's just what we need in terms of, I don't want to use the rude language, but he's a bit of a shit house. Forest need a shit house. We've played better with a shit house goalkeeper. We need someone who can rile up the fans, and all respect to Navas, brilliant goalkeeper, but I think we needed a different style of goalkeeper coming into the next season, which I'm sure the team know as well, the Everybody will know that. So yeah, I would say that Henderson, brilliant signing. Yeah, let's get it done. Prem experience, knows Forest, knows the setup, brilliant. Mateus Malgaias, I think the other keeper.
Was that the goalkeeper that meant to have done the tweet?
Yeah, so his representatives have said that he didn't reply to Forest fans on Twitter saying he's ready to join Forest. I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, well, Braga...
People in the comments, do you believe that it was hacked? Do you believe? Well,
I've got something for you, Dor, right? And I saw this on Twitter, actually, and I don't know who to credit for this, but I saw it floating about on Twitter. So President Nasser Al-Khalifi of PSG, QSI, Qatari Sports Investment, met Forest representatives last week. SC Braga, who, by the way, Mateus Malgaias plays for, are owned by QSI.
Are there?
Is there any discussion there? I don't know. That's probably just, going too far down the rabbit hole. But either way, Braga have rejected £3.9 million bid. Forest going in with a new one. He'd be a good backup goalkeeper. He's in the top, I think he's in the top 3 or 4% for clean sheets. 16 clean sheets out of 32 last season. He's a good goalkeeper.
I can't have an opinion about it because I've never seen him play. So if I do talk about it, I'm just talking BS because, like I said, I don't know the player. Steve, do you know anything about the player?
Nope, never done before.
We never heard of him. Like, Jay, have you watched him? Have you seen him play or anything like?
I've seen little bits, but I mean, I'm only going off what stats say to me. So I mean, for a goalkeeper, there's not really many stats that particularly matter. But
people in the comments, what do you think about this goalkeeper situation? Dean Henderson, let's say it's been dragging along now because of the Manu situation. What do you think? Yes or no? I'll do a poll in a minute on do you want him on it, but Jay, is your number one choice for goalkeeper wise?
What, Henderson or
Henderson?
Henderson's my number one choice, yeah, because at the end of the day, we have to realise that we are limited in terms of the time we have to get a new deal done. I'd rather just have a goalkeeper that's integrated into our system and knows our club than start afresh again. Because I think starting afresh again just knocks stability in the squad just a little bit. And really what we need is to keep the core of the squad together. It's many people have said it and I will echo it. I know there's people in the comments saying that the goalkeeper situation isn't an issue. I just think that's completely wrong. I just think that is just completely wrong because at the end of the day, at the moment, Forest have Wayne Hennessy and George Shelvey, right? George Shelvey's upcoming and he's going to be brilliant. Hennessy, he's not a first-team goalkeeper for me. I respect him a lot. But the goalkeeper situation is probably at the moment the one that we need to focus the most on. Yes. We're talking about left wingers, we're talking about strikers, we're getting lost in the world of forwards and midfielders, but we're not talking about the place where it all starts, the goalkeeping area. So we need 2 goalkeepers. Malgaias and Henderson would be good options, I think, and would do the job. So yeah, we have Horvath as well, but I can't see him staying. So I can't see him staying, to be honest.
Why not? Let's put it out there, right? People in the comments, do you think even Horvath is good enough for Forest? Give your reason, Jed, and ask Steve. What's your reason behind it?
My reasoning why I don't think he'll stay at Forest is not necessarily because he's not good enough, but at his age and the fact that he needs to get into a US international team, is he content with sitting on the bench? And will the USMNT allow him to sit on the bench every week and then go and play for them in international tournaments? I think he'll make a move somewhere else. Whether it's the Premier League, I'm not too sure. Luton obviously weren't too keen. He's an okay goalkeeper, but for me, I'd just rather have someone like Malgaias, who's, he's a little bit older. He's 31, lots of experience, and he's ready to jump in whenever necessary. And you never know with Henderson, it's like if he gets injured, you've got someone ready to jump in there. But you can't have Henderson, who's not particularly great at distribution, and then a younger goalkeeper in Horvath that's, again, not great with distribution. You need someone, I think, like Malgaias that could maybe train Henderson and mentor him a little bit with his skills in distribution, and Hennessy can teach him the odd bit as well. So I just think for me, Horvath, he's still young. I think he'll move on elsewhere. Can't fault him for it. He's a decent keeper, but no, I don't think he's what we need personally.
What do you think, Steve? Do you think we could have him as a backup goalkeeper or just get rid of him?
Horvath won't stay. I agree with Jay. I think he may be loaned out again. to a Championship club, or he might move back to the MLS and fight for that, that first keeper berth in the US team. I agree, but what's mad is we are a bit spoilt as well, in a sense. You're talking about a US international, talking about a Welsh international keeper, and they're not even up for debate of our first choice keeper.
Exactly. This is why it's confusing.
Jay, didn't I say this a couple of weeks ago when we were chatting about the goalkeeper? You've got to start from the back. You've got to get that goalkeeper situation sorted first. There's no point. We could go out and sign Mbappe and all these players up front, and then we could be left no goalkeeper. That, like Jay said, people are getting wrapped up in the whole strike force. Get the keeper sorted first. Start from the back and build.
What about Joe Worrell?
How much better do we play with a goalkeeper who excels in distribution? Brice Samba, who I think is actually going to be one of the world's best goalkeepers in a few years' time. I think it will happen. I know that might sound like a huge overstatement. I just think there's not really many goalkeepers like him out there in the world. But look at when Samba distributed down the right, Joe Worrell makes a pass to Jed Spence. Jed Spence makes a cross. Johnson finishes it, right? 4 passes. That's all it takes. And I'm not saying it's as easy as that in the Premier League, but you've seen it. Teams like Brentford, you've got David Raya there. They're creating goals from goal kicks. Just goal kicks, long kick, and then go for it.
I'm surprised Spurs not gone for him because he's a good goalkeeper as well, isn't he?
Well, this is it. But Spurs, they don't want to pay that amount of money. It's 40 million. It's, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of good goalkeepers out there in the Premier League. And it's like David De Gea. People say, well, why would Man United get rid of him? In fairness to David De Gea, Man United mess every goalkeeper about, and the way they deal with it is completely unprofessional. But in fairness to Man United, they're trying to make the step up to the next level where they can challenge for titles again. They want a keeper that's good at distribution and it's more well-rounded. A goalkeeper in 2023 can't just be a shot stopper. They have to be more. The game's different now. You have to demand more from a goalkeeper now. That's just how it is. We've got to do the same.
I was just seeing some comments that said we are. Where is it gone? I've lost it now. It's from Reedy. We are Premier League now, and that's why it's crazy. Because if it was in the Championship, right? We're talking about goalkeepers right now. We would have even Haroff and Wayne Henderson in goal, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
if you look at it, and we are Premier League. We want good goalkeepers like Dean Henderson and all the other keepers that Forest have been linked with as well. For Martin, if you go back, Martin, we just spoke about him, but yes, I want him because he's got Premier League experience. So if you look back, Ryan, Martin, and please do. Let's go for the comments as well. And this is from Eon. How you doing, Eon? Havard can't dispute as much was clear last season with how our defence had no confidence past the ball back to him. About with Forest, was he that bad for Forest in Championship? I know his kicking wasn't that great, but he wasn't. Steve, was he that bad? I know Premier League different level, but
I said at the time in the Championship that Samba was the pantomime act when he had that, like Jay said, he was the shithouse. He was the go-to man. He just entertained us. There was never a dull moment. But with Horvath, when he stepped in, he was conservative. He was just solid. He kind of, in fact, Horvath looked more comfortable under the high ball than Samba. I thought Samba flapped a lot. I found that was the only weakness in Samba's game was the flat, and obviously his discipline let him down sometimes. But I felt Horvath was more of a solid keeper. His distribution was nowhere near Samba's level. Nowhere near. Samba was unbelievable out of hand. Like his pinging of the ball, like he was like a quarterback when he was unbelievable. Sometimes he tried to be too much, tried to play the little chips over the strikers into our left back or right back's feet. Did get caught a few times or into Rose head. But yeah, Horvath, like you said, Ben just said, in the Championship, I would have gone with Horvath and Hennessy. But now in the Premier League, you've got to have two established. Hennessy's not the worst backup in the world, but as number one, I would definitely go with Henderson. But then if you go through every club in the Premier League, go through their backup keepers. Look at Spurs. When Lloris got injured, Fraser Foster walked in, and he slotted in, which some people don't rate him. He's a unit, but he did Spurs a job, didn't he, towards the end of the season in his own right.
He's better than Lloris.
He's better than Lloris. I think he's better than
Lloris by a mile.
I think he's better.
Say it again.
Better than, when we played Spurs in the Cup, he was probably the only thing stopping Spurs from losing 4-1, 5-1, 6-1.
And if you think in the Spurs away in the league game, even though we were poor, the chances we did have, and he saved a pen.
Yeah, he did.
He pulled a worldie from someone. I can't remember who took a shot. But yeah,
was it
that's
Aurier?
game.
Did Aurier have a header or something like that?
Yeah, that's right. He tipped it. Yeah. But nearly every club in the Premier League have got, I wouldn't say world class keepers on the number twos, but they've got backup to come on. You need it in the Premier League. You can't have, someone running on and having a clue what they're doing at that level. Otherwise, you just get eaten alive. You need two backup keepers, but also you're going to know when you sign this. If we were to sign that lad from where is he playing again? Belgrade, is it?
Belgrade.
If with the keeper situation, it's one of them jobs in the world where you're sitting down pretty much 90% of the time and earning money for doing nothing. But then you gotta switch on. If you're called last minute to run on the pitch, you got to do the job, and you got to be concentrated, switched on, even more than outfield players, because keepers, it's such a pressured position. So we need a good backup as well this year. So get the keeper situation sorted now. It needs to be done even before when's the first game now, lads? Next week?
15th, Notts County, yes.
Oh, so it's a week's.
We've still got time. We've still got time.
Transfers can happen in a blink of an eye. So just get it done.
I remember Harry Arter came out the blue, and we signed him as well. And now what's happened to Harry Arter? Nowhere to be seen. Nearly half an hour of the show is done. Please do a massive favour. Please do hit the like button if you can, and if you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Next up, another player we've been linked with is Leicester striker Kelechi Iheanacho. I've got that. Have I pronounced it right, Jay? Come on, yes.
Iheanacho.
Iheanacho. Iheanacho. I've got it right.
Iheanacho.
Iheanacho. The chat is actually destroy me for this. We linked with him. I'm going to put a poll up. See, do you think Forest should buy him? Yes or no? I know there's been loads of links saying that we've agreed a free, blah, 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 this and that. But people in the chat, do you think we need this player? Yes or no? I know he's got a good relationship with Taro Owane and that. But I'm going to start with you, Jay. Yes or no? And do you think he can improve Forest?
It's a yes from me because, Rodgers didn't really give him a chance at Leicester. This is what people have to remember. There wasn't many occasions where Iheanacho, sorry, I had my own moment there. Iheanacho played himself 90 minutes of football. So Leicester didn't really give him that chance. But all round, and this sounds crazy, he's a more technical forward than what we've got at the moment. Taiwo scores more goals, there's no doubt. And I'm not even getting into a conversation about who's better, nothing like that. But in terms of all-round more technical, Iheanacho is. And for me, obviously, as someone else says, what are the alternatives? Forest are looking at a deal worth £8 million, rising to £10 million potentially. That's what I've heard anyway. On a 4-year deal. He's 26, and he's averaging, 7 or 8 goals a season, assists a lot. He's really good at passing, forward passing, progressive passing. He's got a lot to his game, I think, and for £8 million, it's not a lot. Premier League proven. The only concern for me would be AFCON. Injuries-wise, he's fine, but AFCON's the problem, losing him for 3 or 4 games in January. But for me, why would you be opposed to it? You've got a proven, oven-ready Premier League striker for £8 million. £8 million.
That's nothing.
A goal involvement every 90 minutes. He's a good player. People are just saying no because, it's Leicester. It's Leicester. We don't like Leicester.
Look at Robert Earnshaw. Look at Robert Earnshaw when we signed him from Derby.
And what all people say is, all they look at is, but he's only scored 7 goals last season or whatever. And it's
you know what I say? Well, Jay, I'm not gonna lie. I was not. I'm not saying because he played for Leicester, blood. I'm not nothing to do with that. I just thought to myself, what's he done? What's he done in his career? I know. I didn't even know he was 26. I thought he was older than that. But if he's 26, he's got Premier League. I did my other podcast I did. I want players that is proven in the Premier League. I don't want a player that plays for under 23 team come to Forest and be buying for 11 million. It don't make sense for me. But people in the chat, they might disagree with me and that. But Jay, sorry, carry on, Jay, about that.
No, I just think that for £8 million, you're getting what you're asking for. And as I say, the only thing is AFCON for me that's a concern. But even then, it's not the most major concern because of how many games we're going to play in January. And I don't think there'll be too many. But there's also cup games in that time. AFCON you do have to take into consideration because losing 2 or 3 games of Premier League football could be season defining. And if you haven't got Taiwo and you haven't got Iheanacho at that time, it becomes a little bit desperate. So, but this is where versatility is important. If you can bring in players that can play, I don't know, left wing and striker or right wing and striker, then you have more options, which is what Cooper will go for. But for me, I think, Iheanacho, don't turn your nose up it. Look into his statistics. Read one of my threads on Twitter. Honestly, it's decent.
Yes. People, let's go and follow Jay on Twitter as well. Same as Stephen as well. Please follow both on Twitter because, like Jay, he likes to in depth on each player that we link with, and there's a lot of threads. So please go and follow Jay as well on that. Steve, what do you think? Yes or no?
I think it's a yes from me. Like Jay said, how could you turn it?
You was a bit hesitant there, weren't you, Steve? You was a bit hesitant there, weren't you? You was.
It is the African Nations Cup that does worry me as well. Because if you take, say, we start the season with Iheanacho, Taiwo, Wood, and maybe another, you're taking 50% out of your strike force. Now, that does worry me. But in fact, of his statistics against his time on the pitch isn't that bad. I had a look at it the other day, and it's not that bad. We've been linked and even signed players in the past have got worse records. And I think you've got to play into his strengths as well. Like the fact that he gets really, I think he's best mates with Taiwo. That's going to help him settle into the squad. I think he'd slot into a system. I think he's a decent player. I've never watched him on the games playing for Leicester or even Man City and thought, oh, this kid's not any good.
He scored past us in the FA Cup, if I do remember.
Yeah, when Samba came out and he went around Samba and
It's a good goal.
So I think he does sit a little bit deeper now. I don't think he's I wouldn't say he's an out-and-out target man. So he could sit in that hole and take the pressure off Gibbs White maybe as well. Because we can't put too much on Gibbs White again next season. We need help around him as well. Even though he's one of the main guys, we do need help in that area. So I think Iheanacho, like Jay said, you can't turn it up. If it's £8 million, you can't turn your nose up to that. Bring him in. He might want to stay in the area as well. He's good mates with Taiwo, not a bad scoring record, and bags of Premiership experience. And when he was at Man City, if you had said at that time, "Oh, we're going to sign him in 4 or 5 years' time," you would have bitten someone's arm off. Because at that time, where were we? Where were we when Iheanacho was playing for Man City? Sitting in mid-table in the Championship, signing next to nobody's. And now we linked with Iheanacho. And fans are turning their nose up to it. Are we acting a bit spoilt here? Are we acting a bit privileged? Are we?
I think it's privileged, Steve. I think it's privileged because.
Don't get me wrong, Ben. Everyone's entitled to a yes or no. But what I'm saying is we've got to remember where we've been. And now we're being linked with these kind of players. And I think we got to remember where we were and now where we are. Just remember that.
Exactly.
Players like Iheanacho are not the worst players in the world.
Yeah, I've seen the statistic: 14 goals and 14, scored 7 goals in a row when Vardy was injured in 2021. So again, it weighs up. Like I said, it'd be a good signing, but the African nations as well. People in the chat, like I said, I've done a poll for it. Yes, 76 says yes, 10 says no, and 50-50 on people 50-50 with it. So people in the comments, what did you say on it? Yes or no? Do you think he should be at Forest as well?
I think Ben, people will be more leaning towards yes because of the transfer fee. I think if we were paying like 28 million or 30 million, people go what? But 8 million is a snip really in this market, isn't it?
100%. But yeah, people, like I said, there's so much people talking about it on it. I'm going to go back to the comments on it. I like Iheanacho rather than Pere. For it will be a finisher. I think he's Swansea player. I think wasn't linked. I think little talk about it, but Yeah, I prefer him to Pereira, if nice.
Well, can I just quickly say something on that? Obviously, in this neck of the woods, Ben, is that Hero has been linked with. There's 3 clubs he's been linked with,
Leeds,
and we are one of them.
Leeds.
No, Everton, Leicester, and
Leeds.
Oh, Leeds now, is it?
Yeah, Leeds as well. It was definitely linked with Leeds. It was in the Leeds. Yorkshire Post. I think,
right, okay.
Shout out to Joe. Joe was talking about it earlier on. Right,
but do we have? This is the real question with Championship players, and it's because at the end of the day, I've seen people say, "Yeah, but why are we buying players from the Championship?" And it's like, what? So Iheanacho was a Premier League player just a few months ago. Are you trying to tell me that James Maddison to Spurs you wouldn't take him because he's he was technically a Championship player a week ago? Or this is the thing. It's all right saying, but Guy Carrish is a good player and I really admire him. And obviously Joe Pereira, another brilliant player. But do we have the facilities to actually gamble on those players this season? Because I'd rather have a Premier League proven striker this season, second season, probably the most important season for your Premier League journey. I would rather have someone Prem proven, ready to go, and not have to worry about the gamble, because there's a chance Pirro or Guy Carrish could pay off 10 times more than Iheanacho, and maybe I'm wrong. But would you rather be safer with that gamble, that £8 million gamble? Probably cheaper than Pirro and Guy Carrish,
100%. So people comments, what do you think? Yes or no? Do you think come to Forest? Get comments in now. Right. There's so much topics to talk about. Players leaving Forest as well. There's been loads of gossip around Brennan Johnson, and I'm happy Jay and Stephen here as well. Me and Jay spoke about it before the came live. Like, how much is he worth, Brennan? This is the thing we love to have a discussion with. How much is Brennan Johnson worth? Because we see all four of us have seen his journey from League One, Championship, Premier League, Wales full international, and that. And we see Aston Villa been linked with him. Brentford had a 30 million rejected as well. So let me ask you, Steve, first, because Stephen is Welsh. Yes or no, Brennan Johnson at Forest? And if we did sell him, how much do you think we should sell him for? Steve.
How long's a piece of string, isn't it? In our eyes as fans, I think we've already as fans put a price tag on him.
Yeah.
I think it's through our eyes. We all think he's worth 50, 60 million. It's what the club think is worth. Like we look at it from fans going, what he brings to our team, what he brings to the game while it's unraveling. We can change a game and drop a hat. He can be quiet and score out of nothing. He can be on fire. It's one of them games. I think, like all these comments, I was saying 60 mil. Now, do the club think realistically they'll get that for him? Like, will anyone out there gamble on 60 million now for Johnson at this stage? I think the club are playing it wise if they have put that on him. It's scared him off, basically. It's to turn away the likes of Villa and Brentford and think twice about coming in for a bid. I personally wouldn't take anything less than 50 mil. It made me laugh the other day. I was talking to a guy in my town and he said, "Oh, Johnson's worth about 20 million, isn't he?" And I just laughed at him.
What?
I said, 20 mil. He said, "Oh, you should get 20 mil for him." I said, that's worth one of his right legs.
Who did he support? Who did he support?
Well, Swansea, pretty much. So
says it all then.
It says it all, Ben, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No knowledge there at all.
Yeah.
But no, it's just but the outside fans don't understand what Johnson. Like, I'm sure they've seen his journey going from League One and then what he did for us. But we know truly what Johnson's done for us. And like we've discussed many times on this show, we need to keep him for another couple of years, let him peak, and then if we do cash in him, which eventually I think he will go, but I think up to 50 to 60 mil we have to get for him, because we don't want to take anything less. Because look at some of the transfers has gone through. I mean, is Anthony Gordon worth 45 million? But then
this is it, right? People in the comments, right? I'll get people involved. Well, who, right? when Anthony Gordon left Everton for Newcastle for 50 million, at that point in time, I think he must have been worth that time. But is Brennan Johnson better than Anthony Gordon at this time? I love having this debate with an Everton fan or Newcastle fan on this because.
Can I bring one other name up as well at the time?
Yeah, go on then. Yeah.
Sterling. He left Liverpool to go to City. How much was he? How much did he go for?
50 million.
50 million, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, now, 50 million.
I know at the time Sterling was pulling up trees at Liverpool, but what I'm saying is, again, it's that gamble, isn't it?
Yes.
It's that what the club put on him. Like Liverpool said, all right, 50. City came in and snapped him up for 50, and he was still only he was younger than Johnson.
Yeah.
So if the club, a club could come out of nowhere and surprise us and offer the club 60 mil, and then what do we do then? We put ourselves up, we pin ourselves up against the wall, and we have to accept it. I don't know.
What do you think, Jay? Because we had a discussion about it. Like people comment before I get Jay. How much do you think Johnson's worth? There's 169 people in. Get your comments in. How much do you think he's worth? And I've done a poll as well on Brennan Johnson to stay at Forest. 91 says yes. 9% says no. As well, people in the comments as well. Whoever said no, put in the comments you should leave Forest and why. Get in the comments. Jay, the floor is yours.
What was the amount of points that Leicester were relegated on and Leeds? Was it around 32?
34.
Was it 34?
Yeah, something like that.
If we didn't have Brennan Johnson last season, we would lose 7 points. Okay, I've said it before on here. We'd have lost 7 points. Without those 7 points, we'd be a championship side right now. So I asked the question, can you put a price on that? Can you put a price on that contribution? Because that contribution in terms of Premier League money is worth 120 odd million to Forest. Obviously, I'm not going to ask 120 million for Brennan Johnson. I think the market's gone crazy for every player. But if Anthony Gordon, and I am going to use this example again, if Anthony Gordon, who has got as many goal contributions in 2 seasons, in fact, less goal contributions than Johnson in 2 seasons, as Johnson did in his first Premier League season, why on earth shouldn't Brennan Johnson sell for 5-10 million more than Anthony Gordon? As Steve says, Brennan Johnson, they're going to put 60 million on his head to scare away people. That's a natural thing. Clubs do it all the time. And for me, if you're going to sell him, I'd want 60 million. That would work for me. But I just don't think you can put a price on that contribution. And as Steve says, and this is, by the way, as long as Brennan Johnson wants to stay, I want him to stay at Forest for as long as he can. He didn't play in his position for a lot of last season. And, if you play him on the right, well, then, that's what we need. So, look, I think Brennan Johnson still has a lot to offer Forest, and he's offered us so much. We wouldn't have gone up without him. We wouldn't have stayed in the Premier League without him. Can you put a price on him this season? For me, no. But if someone came in with a £60 million offer, I don't think Forest would have a choice but to sell. Yeah. We spoke about this before. We all know Forest spent a lot last season. They had a lot of outgoings. There's this thing called financial fair play, and we have to abide by it. So if a £60 million offer came in for Brennan Johnson, Forest would probably not have a choice but to sell him. But until then, they're going to do everything they can to keep him. And I'm sure that Johnson wants to stay. And for me, as long as Johnson wants to stay and we're happy to keep him and nobody else is offering, that £60 million, I'm happy, I'm content, and that's it for the future for me. But I don't think it's something we have to particularly worry about too much. But as I say, for me, this season, priceless. Next season, have your talks, anything. But this season, keep the core of the squad together. Let's not break that stability yet. Let's not do that.
And me personally, if we did sell Jono, I think at least stay with us for 1 season at least. Don't send to Brentford because he's so much better. Like I know when we played and we lost 2-1 and the Brentford fans did through bottles and blah de blah and this and that. I know the first bid was in the Championship. Was it 20 million? It's for the first bid, and then just not long ago it was a 30 million bid. Again, how far does that go now? Setting a bid for Jono because, like I said, he's still young. He's still learning. That's the most important thing we need to say. He's still learning. Being a footballer.
You know what Brentford are doing as well, Ben?
Yeah.
What are Brentford known for? Buying and selling on. They are playing a game where they want to buy him for 30. They'll use him for 3 to 4 years, and they'll make profit out of him. Look what they've done with other players. Ollie Watkins, Maupai. They've had a really good recruitment. They have Brentford, and they sell on for big money, and that's what they do. When they're looking at Johnson, probably going, you know what, we can use him now, a couple of years, then sell him on. That's the way Brentford work, and they were just hoping they were testing us with 30 million, which, like you said, 20 million back. When was it? A few years ago.
Yeah, a few years. It was in January, wasn't it? Yeah.
So that's what Brentford are doing, and that's what I said. And Jay, a couple of weeks ago to you, I said I want Johnson to go to a club where he'll establish himself. Don't sit on the bench. Don't just get used. Be a top player, because we all want the best for him, and I want him to stay with us for a couple of years. But we all know he's going to move on, and if he does, go to like you said, no disrespect to Brentford, but don't go there.
No, I don't want him to go Brentford. No.
You know, and they just want to replace Tony as well. They're just looking to fill a gap.
But he's not a Tony player though.
He's not a number 9. He's not.
You know what I'm trying to say. They're trying to like cushion the blow of Tony not being there. That's what I'm saying. They just want to. It's not like for like, but they just want to, you know, put this Tony thing to one side and then go out and sign a player like a Johnson.
So I think Paul said Leicester went down. Leicester 34. Yeah. So yeah. Sorry, Steve. We're still talking.
No, it's just that point. It's all about the Brentford factor. That's what Brentford do, and I can't knock the recruitment because they've had very good recruitment. But they do. That's the way Brentford work. They have a player, and then eventually they'll sell. They will sell Tony eventually, and they'll sell other players who they got.
Would you want Tony at Forest?
Tony,
come on. Brian Mbeumo. Seriously, I would if Brian Mbeumo ever became available from Brentford, I'd snap him up in an instant. He is underrated because everybody looks at Tony, but Josh De Silva,
he's a pain in the backside, that player, isn't he? He's a nuisance.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, I remember he played against I think Forest playing. We watched him on TV, and he played against Spurs. I thought that's the kind of player. He's such a nuisance. He reminds me of what's a player who played for Forest and Derby? Jamie Ward. One of them annoying players that just does something out of nowhere. But Peter Carnes, would you take him? Yes or no? But there's 182 people in. Thank you for everyone that's listening to me, Steve, and Jay about talking about Forest. There's 2 more players that I do want to talk about before we do leave. One player that I've seen, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, you two, Scarpa. Have you seen it, Jay? About him, Besiktas?
Yeah, Besiktas want him. I mean, look, you can see why Besiktas want him because
wait. Let's put it. Let's just listen. I seen it, and I remember everyone got hyped about it. And James, I don't know if you know in the other podcasts, don't get too excited about Scarpa. We all know he's not played because of he's not going to replace Brennan. Let's keep it.
Never. He's not quick enough.
He's not quick enough. But he's got a season now of full training, pre-season to prove himself. But he's linked with a team. Let me ask you, Steve, first. No, let me ask you, Jay.
Yeah.
People in the comments as well, get involved. Do you want Scarpa to stay or leave? Because think about it, we brought him on a free transfer.
Yeah.
But if we get like, I don't know, maybe 5 million or 10 million for him, what would you say about it? People in the comments, get involved.
Well, I don't think it's right to cast that kind of. I don't think it's right to say yet because, as someone rightfully mentions in the chat, I don't feel that the Besiktas links are quite as serious as we.
Yeah, think. That's Nick. Is it Nick?
Yeah, Nick, as Nick says. And I think that it's unfair not to give him at least benefit of the doubt and give him some game time because let's have it right. He isn't quick enough to play on that left wing. We saw that at Fulham, but also he's had these injury problems. So give him a proper pre-season where he can integrate and we can find out where he actually plays best. Who knows? He could be someone that covers for Morgan Gibbs-White when he's injured, potentially. Yeah. He's got good technical ability. He just needs to get up to the Premier League speed. If by Christmas we think this just isn't going to work, he's nearly 30, let's not do this, well, then you've got those options to sell him because he'll never be short of demand anywhere in Europe and in Brazil. So, look, he's been with us not very long. Let's just give him a chance. We've given everybody else a chance. Give him a chance. But as you say, don't over-expect with him because he's never really played in the Prem much before. You've just got to give him time. Don't overrate him, but don't underrate him. Let's just be excited and hope for the best and just cheer for him. He's a Forest player at the end of the day.
Exactly.
That's all I'm bothered about.
Steve, what's your opinion on him?
Yeah, the whole Scarpa thing is interesting because, let's look at it since he's joined. I mean, he's been in and out of the team. He had to go back to Brazil. There's been reports of personal issues. Didn't his partner have a baby, I think, as well? And to me, he didn't look quite match fit. He didn't look. In part, he did look sharp. I go back to that Blackpool away game in the Cup. He was a standout player for us in a very poor team.
Yes.
And that game made me think if he was around better players, our first team, he'd go up another level again. And, he was our best player on the pitch that day. I felt sorry for him. He's probably walking in, what have I walked myself into? What's this about? Playing Blackpool in a middle of January, coming from Brazil. But, and also I think the whole Dalilo thing as well, I think Dalilo was kind of overshadowed him as well. I think we're all. I think we're all Scarpa's going to be the man. Dalilo is the raw. He's going to be for next season. But Dalilo took the bull with the horns and run with it, didn't he? And then Scarpa just got lost in the background.
It took him time to settle, didn't it? Before he ran with it.
Yeah. And Dalilo is going to be a star. That kid is going to be a star player.
No, he's not. He's he's going to be rubbish. Absolutely rubbish.
Oh, sorry.
Nobody should buy Danilo.
Edit that out, right? Dub that out.
I'll blur it.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with Jay 100%. It's unfair to judge Scarpa yet. He's had a few games, and all the games he's played in, he hasn't. It's part of the one or two. He hasn't looked out of place really. He's tried. And he's shown his range of passing as well, in the games he's played. He's technically good. He's a typical Brazilian, isn't he, on the ball? Plays like he's playing on the beach, and just give him time, I think. And I agree with Jay as well. Maybe give him till Christmas. If it's not working, if he just doesn't adapt, then look to loan him out in January or maybe sell him on or try and get him.
Maybe to our sisters club, Olympiacos.
Good at free kicks as well, though. Remember Valencia away door? You nearly scored that 37-yard free kick.
That's pre-season. I don't judge pre-season. It's just fitness for me.
How many good set piece takers do we have in our squad?
More Gibbs White.
Good. He's okay.
He's okay. He's not 10 out of 10 just yet.
I don't really think we have a good set piece taker at Forest. Really good set piece taker, if I'm being completely honest. I think Gibbs White's getting way better, but I don't think we have a real set piece taker like we used to.
People in the comments, who do you think is the best set piece? Because I remember, even when we had James Garner in the Championship, he wasn't that great at set piece.
We haven't had a good set piece player. Even Lansbury, he never used to be great.
Don't mention Lansbury on this chat, Steve. People are going to try and actually destroy your Lansbury. I hope Malcolm, if you watch, put your ears to ears.
It's right though. Corners frustrate the hell out of me with Forest. We never seem to beat the first man, or we mess something up. Scarpa, I think, can offer something from a dead ball. I think his dead balls.
Cafu.
Cafu. Right?
Shout out to Cafu.
That Notts County goal.
That Notts County goal. Yeah.
Do you remember our corner routine against Newcastle, first game of the season?
Oh, that was.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was awful.
That was brilliant. Who took the corner for that?
Who did take? No, hang on.
O'Brien, maybe.
No, yeah, it was right footer. O'Brien's, it was definitely a right footer. That was awful. People in the comments, remember that? That was shocking. I don't know who did that, but it was shocking. There's 5 minutes to go. I'm going to do a quick test on the player, because I know there's a few players that could be leaving. We'll start with Dennis. Jay. People in the comments will get involved and say each player as well. Dennis, stay at Forest, yes or no, and why? Make it quick.
Nope. Attitude's just not there for me. I mean, we all hear different things, but I just don't feel that the attitude is there for me. Do I feel there's a good player in Emmanuel Dennis? Absolutely. I believe in every player that joins Forest. But no, not for me. He doesn't pass enough, so no.
Steve?
No, but one thing I will say for Dennis is he's going to be one of them players. He's going to go to a different club and he's going to score 20 goals.
He's been linked with Ipswich, I think.
Leeds.
Ipswich?
Yeah,
that's Surridge.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. So, Dennis.
You're on about Dennis.
Leeds.
Leeds. Sorry, my fault. Leeds. Yeah.
No, I agree with Jay. No, it's a no for me. He frustrated the hell out of me last season. He did have the odd good game, like Newcastle at home. He tore him apart in the first half. But yeah, it's just no, it's a no for me.
So people in the comments, what do you think? Dennis, yes or no? Get your comments in now. Big Sam, he's been linked with Ipswich. I felt sorry for him because he just didn't get a chance at all last season. He's at the end of his contract as well. He needs game time, don't he, Jay?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that the way that we've handled Sam Surridge has been unfair, if I'm being honest. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of his relationship with Steve Cooper and Forest, but for a player that had one of the best conversion rates of anyone in the Championship, I wasn't expecting him to go and play first team every week. That'd be unrealistic. But to not get game time over the likes of Ayew, who had just come over from the Middle East and did literally nothing for Forest. Yeah. Even when he was out of form, Ayew, he was still getting more game time than Surridge, and that frustrated me. So
even that penalty against Spurs.
That penalty was ridiculous. I mean, but I'm not going to get wound up over that because Ayew's not a Forest player anymore. Remember, out of contract.
But we can see what I want against him now. So he was rubbish. He was rubbish. Simple as that. He was rubbish. And this is the negative side of me. He was rubbish. So if anyone says I don't bollock Forest players, I'm saying it now. He was rubbish. Go on, Jay. He
was rubbish. I'm not going to dispute that, but I wish him all the best in what's next and whatever, and thank you, whatever. Yeah. But Sam Surridge, that's the one where I feel guilty because he's 24. Yeah. I think that one might come and bite us one day. I think that he'll go and do well. And to be honest, I think he's way above Ipswich. No disrespect to Ipswich, but I think he's top level in the Championship. But would Ipswich be a good loan move? Absolutely. He's going to get game time. He's going to score goals. And I think Ipswich are a team that are going to do really well next season. So there's two sides to that. But as a club, Premier League now, he's got a year left on his contract. We're just going to have to get money for him and just move on. But this is the one where I feel guilty and I do feel sorry for him. I feel really sorry for him.
I agree with Jay. I feel sorry for him. I think, what game was it? Was it Man U in the Carabao Cup semi-finals? He was just offside. And since then, did not get game time. And you've got to feel sorry for the lad. But hopefully, he goes to a club that plays him. Because for me, I might get backed for this. He's one of the best finishers I've seen. That hat-trick against Swansea, that was amazing. But
when he held three fingers behind his back like that when he scored? Yeah. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Unreal.
The next player that I'm going to talk about is... I was a fan of him. I'm talking about Remy Freuler. Big fan of him. And looking back on it, he's playing the wrong position. I think he scored a goal for Switzerland on that. But people in the comments, yes or no? Do you want to talk about Forest? Steve, yes or no? It's a weird one, isn't it? It's a weird one.
I said it before, Ben. I don't think Cooper knows how to play him or where to play him. I don't think what I seen him in the World Cup was he was far more advanced. Maybe that particular system Switzerland play suits him better. With us, he showed glimpses of it. When he came back from the World Cup, he did slightly improve a little bit. Then he just went back into himself. He didn't seem to have confidence taking a man on. He seemed like a confidence player to me. If he gave the ball away, he'd hit him like that goal against Brentford. We know about Mbumo. Is that Vissa, was it? But he played a cross pass and they scored from it. I think that knocked his confidence. He just didn't offer enough, did he? And how many people, I know it's really unfair to pick a player, but when he came out with the team, we seemed to pick up a bit. But maybe it's unfair on him as well. Maybe it just didn't work. That Cooper just didn't know how to work him, like where to fit him in. And it's not Freuler's fault. Maybe if he did play more advanced, maybe he would, get better, but we had too many options up in that area. He was never going to take Gibbs White's position, was he, or DeLillo?
Yeah.
So no, for me, we have to get a bit of money back. Maybe the Serie A suits him better. That pace of football.
Well, I was reading this comment, and this is from Scott F. Defo keep whether as a ball retainer is another player that don't fit in Cooper's tactics last season. If we attack more this season and retaining the ball, he'll be quality. You know what? And this a bit. And shout out to Scott for that message, because I remember me and Des had an argument about him, and because we know Italian football is really, really slow, but we're not playing him right. And
well, technically, he's a good footballer. He doesn't give the ball away much. He does retain the ball. It's just when he does lose it, he seems to lose confidence.
Yeah.
I think he's just one of them players. I think on the ball, though, he's never like... I never watched him and thought, oh, this guy is technically not good.
He slows the pace down sometimes. He just slows the pace sometimes.
Just slowing the pace down.
And also, he plays better in a possession-based footballing situation. So Italy definitely works better, and Atalanta in particular. But who do you swap out to play him in the role that he needs to play in? Because for me, we haven't got... Can we do that at the moment? I don't think so.
Because
so for
if
me...
if you put him in that role, sorry, Jay, if you put him in that role, like that number 6, the number 6 role or whatever you call it, you either take off Mangala or Yates. Because you got to deal on the other side, who's playing that number 8 role. It's not going to make... This is where we lack the DM, if I'm honest. That's where we lack. But
yeah, I think Yates is... I think he'll be okay next season, Yates, but we've got to bring in a quality DM that's got some technicality about them, because Mangala he's the most technical out of him and Yates, no doubt, but you need someone... Tyler Adams would be absolutely ideal.
I want him. Boss, do it, please. Just do it. Please do it. Please do it. We're going to I'm going to ask one more player. Please don't chat. Don't go for my neck. Steve. John Joe Selvey.
Oh,
is that a real question, Dor?
People in the comments, yes or no?
The biggest issue we have with Shelby is, do we get any value back for what we pay?
No, we do not.
And who's going to take on? I've heard the list where he's on like 80 and 90 grand a week. Now,
like 60.
It's just who's going to take him on? There's going to be teams out there who will get the best out of him. Obviously, he hasn't worked with us for several reasons. If it had worked out, we would have had a decent player in our hands, but it hasn't just worked out, so move him on. But who's going to take him on? Is it a fact it's going to be a loan? Will someone give us a little bit of value back? I think we spent 2.5 on him, I think.
Yeah.
So are we going to get a fraction of that back? I don't know. Who's going to take a gamble? Will it be a championship side, or will he think us beneath him now? I can't see it. He won't step back down in the championship now. So maybe he will go to a promoted club. Maybe he'll go to a Burnley or a Sheffield United or Luton. But who's going to take on them big wages? If we're not careful, we may have another Harry Arter on our hands.
100%.
I can't believe that someone has said yes in the chat to keeping Shelby. Genuinely. And this is... And Michael Temple said... Michael Temple said this earlier in the week that he'd drive him there. I'm sorry, but Shelby, for one, doesn't suit Forest tactics, okay? Because he plays the long ball, he plays the Hollywood ball. It's not what Forest need. 2, his attitude isn't good enough. That performance at Aston Villa was enough for me, and I'm going in on this now because that's just frustrating. He isn't what Forest need. His attitude isn't right. He isn't a Cooper player. No, done, gone. Championship can't afford it.
Flog him to Arabs. To someone like, I don't know, anyone, any other Arab clubs. He's worth 20 million. He's a fantastic player. If any Arab fans watching this, he's a fantastic player. 30 million, best price for him. Right, it's been a great show. Jay and Steve, thank you. Appreciate for coming on my show. Before we go, Jay, promote your Twitter. So people, because I know you do little things on there as well, and your Instagram.
Oh yeah, I got Instagram now as well. So I mean, there's 162 of you in the chat. I mean, if you've got Instagram, please follow me on Instagram. It's literally Jamie Martin _journalist. It'd mean a lot if you just go and follow. Just takes a second, click follow. and click under my name. It says Jay and it says I'm Jamie Martin. That's
it's on my
name
story.
On
it's on my story, people. So if you can, it's a new page. So please, if you can, follow Jay on Twitter, on Instagram as well. Make sure everyone follows the Welsh Wizard. Steve, he's on Twitter as well. But yeah, it's been a great show. There's going to be loads of transfer gossip as well. So if you can do a massive favor for me, please do hit the subscribe button, like as well. There's quite a lot of videos that I'm bringing up. Thank you, Steve, for helping me out for ideas as well. Because people, if there's any ideas that you want me to do regarding Forest videos, message me and I'll do it because I've got some spare time in my hands. And before we go, like I said, I don't know if you know, me and Jay, we're going to PSV away. There's 153 people there. If you are going, we'll meet up somewhere and vlog.
Apparently, you're all buying me beers because it's my 18th birthday. That's just what I heard. So, I mean, if you go in, then
gossip. It's all lies. Don't believe what you hear. It's all lies. Because yes, Jay's. How old are you, Jay? 18
I'm
years
17
old?
at the moment.
Yeah. My birthday's on the 1st of August. So Jay said he's gonna get me a fruit shoot. So
that's why I said I'd get a door because he's not old enough for an alcohol.
I'm not old enough. No, I don't drink. That's why people thought lies. Right. What's funny, Steve? I don't drink.
No. You just drink alcoholic taser.
I just drink advertise, yeah. Right, people, thank you very well. Before you do leave, if you do massive favour for me, for the 148 people, please do hit the like button. It helps me a lot. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure everyone can subscribe to everyone's Instagrams and Twitter. I'll be back tomorrow. I've got a new video coming out tomorrow as well. Watch out for that. I've got 4 videos coming out this week as well. So please, like I said, watch out for that. Right, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, people, for everyone. Like I said, can't wait for the season to start. Pre-season friendly to be back soon. I'm enjoying it. Peace and love. Up the Forest.
You ready?